Thank you, Stephen, for joining me on the call today. I know you're very busy in your with your clients, but thanks for taking some time out. Now, as an internet marketing expert, and particularly, I'm very interested in three areas that I know you're an expert in. That's Google Plus, Google mobile marketing, and SMS marketing arenas. Now, we've got some small businesses on our program, and what I'd like you to do is to assume somebody has no knowledge of these, and just sort of tell us a little bit about what they are, how important they are to a small business owner, and what they really need to know. And if we could sort of talk about each one. So, first of all, Google Plus, what is it?
Okay, well, first of all, let me just say that there are lots of ways of marketing and using the internet as well, and they're all good in their own way, but some are more cost effective than others, as you would expect. So the three that we've just chosen to talk about today, in my opinion, are the most cost-effective ways for small businesses to engage with the internet and get more business through that channel. In fact, I would say that they are the essential building blocks. So if people start talking to you about anything else and it seems a bit more complicated, the first thing you've got to do is get these right. So starting with Google Plus Places. Now, this used to be simply called just Google Places, but Google have been tinkering around with this just recently and trying to mix in Google Plus with Google Places. So hence that kind of combined title. I'm sure they might think of something a bit more catchy soon, but this is new stuff. So the aim of this is, if you have a website, you've got to get it found. Now, in the good old days, getting your business found used to be quite simple. You used to bung and add in Yellow Pages, a couple of ads in the local newspaper, and using word of mouth, you would probably generate enough business to keep you going. Now, in the days of the internet, it's not quite as simple. You know, Yellow Pages is in demise, and most of printed advertising is also in decline as well. So most businesses now have a website, but the trick is to get it found. And to get it found, you need to appear high up in a search on Google. And the fact is, if you're not near the top of the page, then you're going to get quite a few fewer clicks and also telephone calls than the people right at the top. Mm-hmm. And to get right to the top, you've got to pay for that, and that is Google AdWords. But given that most people have a restricted budget and it's quite easy to blow a lot of money on that, the next best thing is Google Plus Places, which appears just below the top 3 Google Ads adverts at the top of the page. Now, the good news is that it's free to get there. So most businesses should be interested in a free method to get on the first page of a Google search. But you have to claim your page, and you have to optimize that page to get it to the top. Because the nearer to the top of the page you are, the more leads you will get. And you do need to optimize that Google Plus Places page. Now, the other thing is there's only 7 places. Mm-hmm. So, if you're not paying attention or you're not claiming your page and you're in a competitive industry, then you're unlikely to appear in there just by default. You might be lucky, but you need to take action. The first action you need to take is to claim your place and then start doing something about optimizing it. Okay, so that is Google Plus Places in a nutshell.
Oh, okay. So how do you claim your page?
Well, you just Google, you just go on Google and Google Plus Places or Google Places, and you'll find the appropriate Google place, and it'll take you through the process of actually claiming it. Now, part of that process is they need to know who you are and that you are who you are, and they're likely to. You get 2 choices. You can either elect to have a postcard sent to you, or you can do it over the telephone. Either way, it's just the same. But they'll send a code to you, and then you've got to send it back to them. And what that's doing is just ascertaining that you are the owner of the business that you're claiming.
Okay. And so you talk about optimizing the page. What does that mean in layman's terms for a small business? Is that a very complicated process that they need help for, or can they do that themselves, or what?
You can do it yourself if you know what you're doing. As in all these things, they're relatively easy steps. But you may not have the time, or you may find it a little bit difficult. But what Google are looking for to get you to the top of the page is a relevant content in the description that you put in about your business. Now, it's not just about you describing effectively what your business does. You've got to think what your customers are going to be searching for. What are they going to be putting into the Google search engine to find your business? So if you're a plumber, it's going to be plumber. It's quite easy. But if you're a business that provides services, then you might have to think a bit harder about it. But what you're looking for are the keywords that people are going to be entering into the Google search to find a business just like yours. And you've got to make sure that that description of your business is liberally sprinkled with those kind of words throughout the description. So that is one key element. The other element is that you've got to help yourself. And you've got to find people who are willing to write reviews about your business. Because I'll come on to talk about this later, but the importance of peer reviews and testimonials is just escalating beyond all belief, really, because that's what people are going by these days. They're searching for businesses on the internet, but they want to know that they're trusted and that they can believe what they're reading, because obviously there's a lot of, quite rightly, a bit of tongue-in-cheek about what people read on the internet. They don't necessarily believe everything they're reading, so they're looking for peer reviews and testimonials just to prove that you are a good business. But you can ask your customers or your loyal customers or some of your friends and family or whatever to write reviews for you and get those placed onto Google Places as well. And the more quality reviews that you've got, the easier it is to get ranked higher up on Google Places. And there are a few other things which are changing, but they were there in the past, like loading videos or images, and making sure that your profile is fully filled in and complete. And these are all essential steps in getting up there.
Okay, great. So that's covered Google Plus then, and I can see why there might be some complications over Google Plus and Google Places because it's changed names, hasn't it? But essentially, it's local, isn't it? It's local searches. It's local businesses being found in the locality.
You're right, and I did make that assumption at the start that the small businesses would have customers or a good slice of their customer base within, say, 20 to 25 miles of their key locations. Mm-hmm. So it is about local search for Google Plus Places, but not necessarily just business to consumer. But if you're business to business and you rely on local business in a particular area, then this is still essential stuff for you.
Okay, so let's look at mobile marketing then. What's this? A bit of hype, or is it here to stay, or what? Tell us what it is. What's it all about?
Yeah, well, mobile is the biggest change that there's been in the last 2 years. In fact, some of the bigger companies could see this coming, and companies like Google made a strategic decision to go mobile first in everything they do. So everything they do now, they consider mobile first, and then they follow it up with stuff for the bog standard PC. So it's important, and they believe it is important. And so why should you believe that? Well, there are more mobiles, there are probably twice as many mobiles out there in the world than there are PCs. And with the advent of the smartphone and the iPad or other tablets, people are starting to use mobile devices much more because they can search the internet, gain the information they want, and take action straight away. Now, what I found is that the majority of small businesses are putting barriers up between them and this group of prospects. And what I mean by that is if you try yourself and put your own mobile URL into a mobile phone, your own website URL into a mobile phone and see what comes up. Now, if you're seeing your bog standard web page, that's like looking at the world through a letterbox. You're scanning around the page, moving your finger up and left and right and all the rest of it, trying to zoom in and zoom out, trying to find the information you want. Well, the right way to do it is to have a mobile optimized site. So when it detects that it's being searched for a mobile device, it presents a mobile optimized website. So what I mean by that is it's a website which is the right size for the device, and it has features like tap to click, tap to call. So if you want people to call you, all they've got to use is use their thumb and press one button and they're calling you. Or integrating with the other features of the phone, like using their maps to find your business, or just generally presenting stuff in a manner that's easy for people to see. Now, the downside of this for businesses that are not doing it is that these people are much more likely to be buyers than the people searching on the browsers. In fact, something like 70% of mobile searches will result in contact with the business. And that's likely to happen within 24 hours of them making that search. So these are keen buyers looking for services or products like the ones that you're providing. So you need to present the information to them in the right way. And the fact is that 50% of users, if they don't see a mobile site, will move on to the next available item in the search. And they're more likely to be your competitors. So if you don't take action on this, you're likely to be feeding your competitors with warm leads, which is not what you want to be doing. And also, 40% of people who see a bad mobile site will not recommend that business to a friend. And of course, word of mouth and recommendations is still a key part of getting business, even in the internet world. So that's why it's important. People out there using their mobiles are keen buyers, and they get turned off very quickly if you don't present them with the right information in the right way. And you're putting up barriers if you haven't sorted that out. So that's one of my strongest recommendations for small businesses. It won't cost you very much. I mean, typically you can get a mobile site up and running of the simplest kind for only about £200 or £300, and it's cheap to host. And it will switch automatically between people browsing on a mobile or people browsing on a PC using exactly the same web URL, domain name, as you're using for your main site. So it's something that you can do quite easily.
Does it have to have a .mob, what do you call it, at the end of the URL, or could it?
No, it's exactly the same URL as people will search for your main site. And there's a bit of code that gets put on your main site which detects the type of device that people are searching from and then presents the appropriate website to the people that are searching. So if they're searching on a mobile, they get a mobile site. So you don't have to have a separate URL. It's all done within the one URL.
But do you need to amend each site if you change content or add something, or is it the same site automatically?
No, the content will be probably unique to the mobile. And what people are looking for on mobile is, they're searching for a business because they want to buy. They're not generally searching for general information about a business. They want to know where you are, when you're open, how do I contact you, what offers are available. It could be that you have an app that you've got that they'll be able to download, how to find you using the maps. It's all those key bits of information that people need when they're thinking about buying something. They've already decided they want to do business with you effectively. And these mobile searches at the moment for local businesses, they represent nearly 30% of all searches.
Right.
So what you can say is, if you sort this out, you're likely to increase your leads from your website by 20 to 30%. And not only that, you're going to improve the quality of those leads as well. So this is quite easy to sort out, and it has a very high impact.
Do you have a good example or a typical example of a website that somebody could look at to see what a mobile one looks like?
Well, yes. I mean, if you choose any of the well-known larger companies, they will have had this sorted out by now. But good examples of that might be, a pizza company. If you try Domino Pizza, I bet you, I haven't looked recently, but I bet they've got a mobile version of their site. It's going to be quite easy. You'll be able to see menus, and you'll be able to place orders at just a few clicks of your thumb.
So the test will be, go to a website on your desktop or your laptop, go to exactly the same URL at the same time on your mobile device, and if it's a completely different look and feel screen to it, it's a mobile website. Is that right?
Absolutely.
Okay, and interestingly, you talk about that not being costing the earth. What happens if a company's paid thousands for a website? They're going to feel that they're going to have to pay another thousands for a mobile site.
No, they might well have paid a lot of money to get their main site, and it's still going to be very important to them. And but to sort the mobile site out, as I said, you're talking hundreds of pounds, not thousands of pounds, and you get a very good basic site with all the basic functions on it to work for about £300.
Okay, all right, interesting. So, third area, SMS marketing. What's all that? I don't want to get texts on my mobile. So, what are we doing there?
Well, it's continuing the theme of the mobile is the way forward. And if you're getting leads and even on your website and your mobile site, you should be having some kind of lead capture system, so that people are exchanging their email, or in this case their mobile telephone number, for a bit of key information or a discount or some kind of offer or access to some kind of offer. And it's much easier to offer those things via your mobile site. Now, once you've got their mobile number, then communicating with them via SMS rather than email is much more fruitful, because as we know these days, most emails, particularly the unsolicited ones, are likely to be unopened, and the opening rate is low and the action rate is low. Now, it just happens with text that something like 90% of all texts are opened and read, and they're likely to be opened and read within a minute of their receipt. So it just knocks email into a cocked hat as far as communication is concerned. And it's much simpler to do than the email marketing, and it will elicit the right results. If you make the right offer at the right time, they're quite likely to search for you on their mobile if they haven't done so already, or research for you, and they're quite likely to take action.
I think I said I don't want to receive texts just ad nausea. However, if I've expressed a bit of interest in a pizza site or said yes, I want offers, if I then receive a text saying that there's 20 or 30% off, in the next hour, I might well relish that and go along and get a good discount. So I think that there is space for that in today's market.
Yeah, there are, and people are using these quite well. I mean, if you're a business that relies on people making appointments, for instance, a text at the appropriate time, a reminder, can reduce your no-shows by about 70%. So that's a significant help to businesses in itself. And there are other ways that people are using it. Say you have a restaurant or some business where you want to make an offer on a certain day because business is low, or you want to clear some stock or whatever. Pushing those SMS messages out to your customers at the right time, and knowing that they're going to read them, and knowing that it's only your customers that are getting those SMS messages, it can elicit the right kind of response. As I said, for a restaurant, it could be that you have a slow Thursday and you promote that, and you push your emails out on Wednesday, trying to get the business for the Thursday. So, and these things do work.
So is this a case of on either a website or a mobile site collecting a text number and then manually doing it, or is there an automated process behind this?
There'll be an automated process behind this, very similar to how emails work with autoresponders. There are similar systems with SMS systems. You can set up the messages, you can send them out at pre-programmed times and a pre-programmed message. And if you've segmented your customer base in any way, it might be new customers, old customers, high spenders, or whatever you've done, you could send different messages to those people.
Okay, that's really interesting. So, we've looked at three ways, and there are other ones like Google AdWords and Facebook ads and LinkedIn ads. But we've looked at the three that, as I say, you're passionate about at the moment and feel they represent the best value. But what's the most effective way for a small business to use these emerging technologies? And when they're deciding where to spend a limited budget, what would you say the most effective way is?
Well, we chose those three because exactly that. We believe they're the biggest bang for your buck. But even if you're doing traditional methods, if you're putting adverts in newspapers or magazines, or you're creating flyers, you should be drawing people into these new techniques. And say for a printed advert, you would use QR codes. Now, QR codes, you will have seen those. They look like those little dots. They're square dots, and they're just patterns. And what they are, they're 3D barcodes in effect, and they contain a lot of information. But what people are using those for is that you make an advert. Say it could be a simple flyer saying sale just about to start, blah 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 blah, You put your QR code on there, and that immediately sends them through their mobile device, because they will be photographing that on their mobile or their iPad or other tablet, and then you're taking them to a landing page on your website, which will be to obviously related to the offer, and an attempt to try and get all of their email or SMS, their mobile number, so that you can make follow-ups. So you're linking the two methods together, and there's more and more you will see in newspapers and magazines, those QR codes and adverts, and even on video ads, QR codes are starting to appear. And with every kind of advert, even on the television and radio, you will see more and more people saying their website or their Facebook page or the Twitter account to try and engage people through the internet methods, as opposed to just keeping the traditional methods separately. So there's an integration of traditional, and then there's getting the basics of internet marketing sorted out. And as you've already rightly said, there are lots of things to do on internet marketing, which makes it more and more complicated. But without getting the basics right, then there's not much point in spending time and effort on doing something more complicated, because it's going to fall down.
So we've got small businesses that decide they want to do some of this, and you've indicated that some of it they can do themselves. But let's say they're busy and they want to outsource this and have a provider. Give us a few tips on if you're looking for a provider. How do you separate the cowboys from the genuine suppliers? Because I'm sure there's a lot of people that will take an awful lot of money off you without delivering very much. How can a small business owner be an intelligent client, an intelligent customer in this arena when he might or she might not know too much about it?
Yeah, well, the tips we've already given will give you a good start, because you should be asking for those kind of services. But what you generally find is that people try and sell you their latest thing, and they're trying to sell you something rather than actually trying to find out what about your business, about some key bits of information that they need to know before they can even talk about the right kind of solution. For instance, they would need to know what the lifetime value of your customer is, and they would need to ask a few questions to try and ascertain that, even if you can't tell them directly. Because without knowing that, you want to know how much it is per cost of acquisition of each customer. And if the cost of acquisition of each customer is higher than the value you're going to get out of them, then clearly you don't want to be doing that. On the other hand, many businesses underestimate how important it is to get new customers and what their value is. Because they might just see it in terms of their first purchase, rather than a year's purchase, or if they can keep the customer a long time, 3 years purchases. And how many people are they going to tell about your business and try and get those people as well to use your services. So the lifetime value of the customer is important, so they should be asking about that. They should be asking about what the objectives are that you're trying to get to. Are you trying to get new customers because you want to boost stuff now, or you're trying to build your business over time? And depending on the answers to a lot of these questions will depend on what kind of things that they should be offering up, rather than just saying, oh, I do search engine optimization and I'll get you on page one of Google. Well, to what end? Why are we doing this? And where are they going to go then? Because there's no point in just driving them to your website and they say, oh, that's a nice website, and then they go off somewhere else. You can very quickly find out whether somebody is interested in achieving something for your business, or they're just trying to sell you something. And that's my advice.
Okay, thank you for that. And while I've got you on the line as an internet marketing expert, just tell me a little bit, we do hear that you should be on AdWords or LinkedIn advertising or Facebook advertising. Where do these sit? And I know we've talked about the three that you think are the most popular, but just give me your view on all those: Google AdWords, LinkedIn advertising and Facebook advertising.
Well, paid ads can be a vital source of business for you. As I've already explained, if you're paying for Google AdWords, you're going to appear at the top of the page. So certainly if you're in the top 3 adverts for Google AdWords, and being at the top of the page means that you're going to get more attention, more clicks, more telephone calls than everybody else. The downside of it is that it can be expensive, and if you don't know what you're doing, you can blow a lot of money very quickly. I see so many ads where they're just driving people to their homepage, and you think, well, that's a very expensive way to get traffic. You need to have, if you're going to put an ad together, it needs to have a specific landing page on your site, which is totally optimized to the actual ad that you're putting on Google AdWords, and you need some way of grabbing that person's contact details. Because if you're paying for some adverts, you need to know that it's working, and you need to know that you're going to get a real person on the end of it. So my advice is you've got to be very careful. So the creating the ad and the landing page have got to work very, very closely together. They've got to be aimed at some specific keywords that people who are looking for your business, for the services or products that you're selling, those words are chosen very carefully. And the whole thing has got to work together. It is not easy to do on your own, and without any experience of doing this, it's very easy to blow a lot of money. And I don't know whether you've talked to your group a lot before about A/B split testing and things like that, but you need to be testing all the time to optimize these things, because the idea at the end of the day is to get a qualified lead at the lowest possible cost. Now, AdWords, Google is very good at targeting people geographically and for these keywords they're searching on. Facebook is easier to target for a specific demographic. So if you know what you're looking for in terms of your customer base, that they're female, they're aged between 30 and 40, they're likely to do this, that, and the other, then it's much easier to target them through Facebook. Facebook ads are also cheaper. And if you direct them to a Facebook page, then that's cheaper even still. But when you direct them there, you really need to have created an app for your Facebook page, which is specifically to the ad itself. Now, and you need to creating an app for a Facebook page is not as easy as it seems. You probably need help to do that. Although people who are very familiar with computers and can find their way around AdWords easily, they'll probably be able to create an app on Facebook, but it is not easy. But the advantage is that you're linking your AdWords once again with a lead capture system, so that you're making good value out of your spend. Because at the end of the day, very few people will make a buying action on one visit. You probably need to capture their details on the one visit, and then you need to follow it up with a few follow-up emails or text, SMS.
And is LinkedIn the same as Facebook? Like you can target demographics more than geographics?
LinkedIn works better for business propositions. So if you're looking for partnership deals or joint ventures, then LinkedIn is good. The LinkedIn ads, it's more tricky, and probably you're better to use LinkedIn by joining groups, finding out what's going on, and joining in the conversations, and then throwing your offer in at the appropriate time. But if you're a business to consumer business, then LinkedIn is not going to work for you as far as reaching the customers are concerned. However, it could be very good for making partnerships with people, and then you could joint market to each other's lists or customer base, and that can be very lucrative. So it's a different game altogether, LinkedIn.
Stephen, that's great, and thanks for sharing that with us. Is there anything coming around the corner? What should we be looking for, or is it all this mobile stuff and 4G, or is there anything even beyond that is going to be exciting?
I think, judging by the fact that something like 90% of businesses haven't got a mobile site yet, and it's all about mobile at the moment, then it's absolutely for sure in the next year or so, people have got to get that sorted out, and they've got to start, as I said, integrating their traditional advertising, their printed media stuff with the internet, with the use of QR codes and things like that. So it's about moving towards the things that we've discussed today. And as I said, you might say, well, it's been around a while, but the fact is that people aren't using it effectively yet. And with the change, in the internet world and the speeding up of internet connections to mobile devices, this is only going to escalate. And the figures are at the moment that searches on the internet, sometime in 2013, searches on mobile devices are going to outdo searches on PCs. So if you're not set up for mobile, then you're set up to fail, really, in the future. It's a question of how quickly. As I say, now it's about 20 to 30%. Next year it's going to be 50%, and it's going to grow.
I just have another question, actually. If you search on your mobile device on Google,
Yeah.
do you get the same returns as if you'd searched on your laptop or PC? Or do you get more mobile-friendly returns?
It's localized much more than the PC search.
So it's not the same responses that you get?
Not quite, no. Because those are mobile devices, most smartphones and certainly the iPads and the other tablets have a GPS system incorporated into them. Most of them do. Or they can use the cell system itself to roughly locate where you are. And they're using that information because Google is all about presenting relevant information. So if it knows you're in Manchester or Birmingham or London, it will present information based on your location. Much more than, and it can do that with a PC, but sometimes that gets thrown off because it depends where your internet service provider is, and people generally don't set their location themselves on their PC. But with a mobile device, it's done for them automatically. So the search the information is presented is probably much more about where you're located.
So what I'm hearing then, if you're a local business, then it's really worth getting, not on the bandwagon, but getting into this mobile arena, because if people are searching for you in the area and you've got a good relevant site that's got some traffic and it's got good graphics and it's got good facilities, then Google at the moment is likely to push you up there at the top of that search. So now is a chance to sort of get in quite early, because most competitors are not doing that.
Most of your competitors aren't doing it.
Yeah.
And because of that, if they're not doing it and people find their sites on their mobile devices, they're going to move on. And they're going to move on to your site, hopefully. And that's the thing about it. The other big thing that we talked about, these mobile devices and the internet, is I mentioned it earlier on, that peer reviews and testimonials are going to be much, much more important. How do people differentiate between your offer and somebody else's offer? How do they do that? Social media and the reviews on your Google Places are going to be vitally important. Always in the past, word of mouth was important to businesses, and how much business would you get through word of mouth? Well, all this stuff is word of mouth on steroids. It's going ultra fast and ultra quick. Just one recommendation from one person could hit 1,000 people within 24 hours if it gets onto their social networking system. Equally, bad reviews and bad comments will go probably even faster. So the management of reviews and testimonials and the management of your systems and your reputational management is going to have to be much, much sharper in the future than it is today. So that's kind of a bit of a word of warning, I think.
So the chance is to really grab the metal there and really make the most of this mobile opportunity while it's still fresh. If you want significant growth, it's really part of your strategic growth pattern. Is that right? Absolutely.
For you think about how much you spend already on advertising, whatever. For a very small amount and a bit of care, you're gonna be able to increase your leads through your websites, through the internet by 20 to 30% without spending a great deal. And there's not many ways that you'll be able to do that. So that's how important it is. And if you don't do it, you're going to be giving all those leads to your competitors.
Great. Now, I know you've created some YouTube videos, some short, snappy, again, educational videos on YouTube, and we'll put a link to those on the site. Do you have any special offer in the mobile arena that you want to make to people who are watching this?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say, for your groups, I will provide them with a free audit of all of their internet activities, so that they can know exactly how they're doing now and what things may or may not work for them, and which will create a priority order for sorting out, so that they can do that. Also, I will give them a simple mobile site, just for the cost of hosting it, which would be about £10 a month. so that when people search for them on the internet and they're on a mobile device, they'll see their kind of website on a mobile. They'll have a tap to call functionality, so that just one tap and they'll be able to ring them, they'll be able to find them, and perhaps present an offer on that mobile site as well. So I'll do that for free. Obviously, the cost of the hosting I would have to charge for.
Okay, that's a great offer, and we'll put a link to your site and your email address on our website. So thanks for sharing that, Stephen, out your busy day. And as I say, we'll put a link to your videos on YouTube, which expand a little bit really on what you've covered today, which is just the basics. So for people who are really not into this was a bit of foundational. A lot more I'm sure you can go into and do go into. So just I recommend give you a call if you want to get into that arena. So thanks for your time today, Stephen.
Okay, thank you, David.
Bye.
Bye.